Hello, friends. Welcome back to library. Here's our book this week. It's called Who Lives Where? This book is about different animals and where they live. Parents, what we're working on is identifying different animals and being able to say the actual name of the animals. So that would be labeling, and answering who and what questions, like what animal it is, or who is this, and then where questions, like where does it live? All right, here's our book. Start with our first place. All right. Who lives where? Who is living in the jungle? Let's look at what we see here. This is an orangutan. Here's a turtle. And this is a bird. Right here is an ant. These are different places that these animals would live. We have an anthill. We have a tree. We have a woven nest and a jungle pool. Let's see. Where do you think the orangutan lives? Do you think the orangutan lives in the jungle pool or the tree? I think the orangutan lives in the tree. Let's find out where our animals live. Look! You can see the orangutan lives in the tree. The turtle lives in the jungle pool. The bird lives in the woven nest. And the ant lives in the anthill. Let's look at other places where our animals could live. Who lives in the forest? We have a fox. We have a crow. We have a rattlesnake. And a hornet. Look, we have a large nest. We have a den. We have a tree nest. And we have a fallen tree. Let's find out where these different animals live. Look, the rattlesnake lives under the fallen tree. The fox lives in a den. The crow lives in a woven nest. And the hornet lives in the hive. Who lives on the beach? We have a seagull. We have a hermit crab, a starfish, and a lugworm. We have a shell that could live in a rock pool, who lives in a cliff, and who lives on the sand. Let's see. Do you think a seagull lives in a shell? No. Let's find out where our animals live. Look, the seagull lives on the cliffs. A starfish lives in a rock pool. The lugworm lives in the sand, and the hermit crab lives in a shell. Who lives where around the farm? We have a duck, a horse, a bee, and a chicken. Who lives in the hive? Who lives in the pond? Who lives in the stable? And who lives in the coop? Do you think the horse lives in the coop? No, that's too small for a horse. Let's find out who lives where. Look, the chicken lives in the coop. The horse lives in the stable. There he is. The duck lives in the pond. And the bee lives in the hive. Who lives where in the desert? We have an armadillo, a scorpion, a gecko, and an owl. Places they could live. We have a cactus, a stone, sand, or a burrow. A burrow is a hole in the ground that you live in. Let's find out where these animals live. The armadillo lives in the burrow. The gecko lives in the sand. The scorpion lives under the stone. And the owl lives in the cactus. All right, friends, thank you for reading this book with me.